Hello, I'm Frank Weiner, Chief Marketing Officer for CPR and President of the MPC Alliance. I'm here today on behalf of Cybavo, a leading provider of digital asset wallet solutions for institutions, exchanges, and custodians. Cybavo was one of the first companies to adopt secure multi-party computation to provide digital asset wallet solutions with improved security and increased efficiency, agility, and scale. Securing digital assets for yourself, your company, or your customers is almost completely dependent on keeping the associated private keys secure throughout their entire life cycle. The historic approach to key security is to store them in specialized tamper-proof appliances, such as hardware security modules, or in offline cold storage settings. The problem with these approaches is twofold. First, they're vulnerable, because at many points throughout the key life cycle, the key exists in a complete form on one or multiple devices, making them susceptible to hacks and compromised or malicious insiders. Second, they're complex, and they introduce a lot of friction into the operational process. As digital asset adoption expands and evolves, we'll need solutions to minimize or eliminate friction, not add to it. MPC is a game changer for key management and protection. It mitigates classic vulnerabilities by generating and using keys in the form of distributed key shares, which are never combined on any single device throughout the entire key lifecycle. A complete key never exists at any time, even when the key is used to generate a signature. In addition to protecting the key from unauthorized use, MPC provides the ability for multiple parties to individually grant their approvals, much like we've seen historically with multisig. Only MPC offers so much more, because the separate approvals combine to generate a single signature, which is natively supported by virtually every blockchain and digital asset or token type. As a result, multi-party approved transactions using MPC do not require smart contracts or the associated transaction fees that exist with multisig. It also means that wallets using MPC can be readily extended to support different asset and token types with dramatically less time and effort. And MPC provides all of this with a fully online operational model, which eliminates nearly all of the friction and time-consuming processes associated with historic key protection solutions. CPR's founders were part of the first team to deploy MPC to provide commercial services back in 2008. CPR's world-renowned cryptographers are considered industry authorities and subject matter experts in the field of commercial application of MPC, particularly for key management and protection. We introduced the industry's first MPC wallet solution in 2018. Today, MPC is used by literally hundreds of exchanges, custodians, and financial institutions around the world. While MPC provides an industry-leading foundation for key management and protection, the broader ecosystem must be equally robust to provide secure wallet services. Security experts like Cybavo have built upon MPC to offer complete turnkey wallet solutions. This approach assures that security is maintained throughout the entire wallet and solution stack. At this point, I'd like to hand this back over to the Cybavo team to provide a more complete introduction to their company and their best practices for assuring security throughout the entire stack and solution lifecycle. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank, for the warm introduction. My name is Jonathan. I'm the Sales Director at Cybavo. We deliver a suite of tools that secure digital asset operations for enterprises. Cryptocurrencies are often in the news for the wrong reasons. Security breaches where large sums of crypto have been stolen are common. Today, I want to talk about how Cybavo uses MPC technology and other custom-built wallet infrastructure features to secure our customer funds while allowing for an easy-to-use digital asset operations platform. The digital asset industry is expanding at a rapid rate, but few people understand the cryptographic foundation of this burgeoning industry. We have trillions of dollars which, regardless of currency, blockchain, or encryption scheme, all require a private key to access funds. These keys are constantly under threat from various actors, and we've already seen the loss of hundreds of billions of dollars. Furthermore, any institutional handling of digital assets requires around-the-clock maintenance of blockchain nodes, the ability to identify and mitigate crypto-related attacks, and continual upkeep with the ever-evolving regulatory environment. Cybavo is first and foremost a team of cybersecurity experts. We have developed a battle-tested crypto custody and infrastructure solution that has security infrastructure built from the bottom up. We provide secure tools to control and consolidate crypto asset flows and support a broad number of cryptocurrencies. Our corporate bank account-like user interface streamlines operations and reduces blockchain fees through built-in efficiency measures. Most individual crypto users simply want to hodl, and fund liquidity is not a major concern. But for virtual asset service providers or VASPs, the stakes are higher, as there's a great need for both security and access to funds, since that is fundamental for the operation of the business. When crypto is stolen, it's stolen. It's gone forever. This is why ensuring complete control of the private keys is fundamental. As the saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. MPC eliminates the single point of failure issue by generating private keys that not only ever exist as a number of key shares, each living on physical and logically disparate infrastructure. This means there's no single private key that ever exists in memory, and therefore no single private key that can be dumped from memory. This allows MPC to deliver increased usability without compromising on security. While MPC is the core security solution for blockchain and crypto, secure wallet infrastructure requires more than a secure signing approach. It requires full stack protection with security built from the bottom up. MPC is a good foundation, but there are other elements that one needs to consider for effective wallet security. Blockchain security refers to the security of the private key. System security means securing the various operating systems such as Linux, Android, and iOS and their associated libraries. Authentication security focuses on the ability of enforcing that only authorized users are able to operate the wallet, and how the platform prevents unauthorized access that could render the rest of the precautions useless. Node security focuses on the protection of the blockchain full nodes, which are also functional requirements of the wallet infrastructure. Therefore, all these components are needed in combination to offer effective enterprise digital asset management solutions. Let's have a look at blockchain security and its effects on enterprise wallets. One of blockchain's technology's main features is in its ability to securely facilitate value transfer between anonymous parties in a trustless environment. But this security is limited to the transactions themselves, not the private keys required to access and move funds on the blockchain. Thus, secure private key management is at the heart of this emerging industry. Regardless of the system where the wallet and the sign are located, for example, Android, iOS, or Windows, system security, incident detection capabilities, and user-specific disaster criteria must be considered. Let's now look at the main components of system security and how they should be approached, both for mobile and non-mobile systems. First, let's look at non-mobile security systems. Traditional antivirus software and firewalls have limitations and are not enough to securely protect an enterprise cryptocurrency wallet solution. In a platform such as ours, it is recommended to follow a much more restricted approach. A hardened OS is essential for limiting attacks, as it only includes the essential libraries to run our platform, reducing the attack surface significantly. Using a sandbox to eliminate privilege escalation risk and leverage, monitoring, and other tools is essential to being in control of the health and integrity of the system hosting the platform. Database integrity verification will reduce the risk and help in detecting any sort of system tampering. Finally, it is very important to be protected against ransomware attacks by encrypting the system configuration files, as well as performing regular database backups. Our enterprise wallet solution, the Survivor Vault, uses a mobile app for secure multi-factor authentication for login and transaction approval. I will show you exactly how this works in a video later in this presentation, but let me summarize the key features for you. As mobile devices can be compromised in various ways, our app executes an essential security analysis at every startup of the application. The app protects against reverse engineering that could compromise its integrity, and when updating the app, a cloud verification update needs to be performed to detect if any type of tampering has occurred. The app also leverages a secure storage mechanism provided by the operating system, like the Android key store and iOS keychain, to safely store any key being used. Memory guard and memory clearing protects critical information so that any information temporarily stored cannot be accessed by unauthorized processes. Finally, a secure, self-developed numeric keypad for PIN input is used instead of third-party keyboard providers, which can be compromised with keyloggers and other malicious threats. All of these security features ensure the Survivor app delivers a highly secure, available, effortless transaction approval solution. So far, we have analyzed some guidelines on how to get protection from intrusions caused by exploiting system vulnerabilities. Our next focus area, authentication security, will touch upon user operations and permissions. An important note to make here is that previously mentioned security features will be rendered irrelevant if a weak authorization mechanism leads to opportunities for a malicious actor to impersonate a legitimate user. To provide some perspective, Survivor Vault offers a web browser interface for the effective and efficient management of digital assets. Users with the correct permission level can log in, create wallets, and define wallet policies. The Survivor mobile app that you saw on the previous slide is used to provide multi-factor authentication when a user wants to log into the web interface. Users also need to double confirm their identity when they have to perform critical operations on the platform, such as wallet creation, policy updates, and triggering and approving transaction. We add a fourth optional factor of authentication, which binds a YubiKey to the Survivor app. I will give you further insights into these processes during the product demo video in a moment. In terms of authentication, we cannot rely solely on the traditional user password mechanism. On its own, password protection is a high-risk and outdated protection method. Passwords can be tracked, and instances of account databases being stolen and then sold are common. An improvement over the password-only approach is to use an additional second layer of authentication. That method is called multi-factor authentication, or MFA. This method requires a second mechanism to identify the user, like an email link, SMS code, or a one-time password generated by MFA app. However, this method still has some limitations, as a system generating the codes can be compromised by malicious actors. These breaches can include SIM swaps, email account hacking, and OTP app vulnerabilities. A more robust method is to add public cryptography infrastructure to the MFA process. This allows for the combination of a unique user ID to bind with the user authentication app with a system that secures the communication channel between the threads. This is then cryptographically binds a user device and creates a unique secure communication channel between the user and the system. The user is then notified when someone else has used the account to bind to another service, and that foreign actor will be kicked out of the session if someone logs in. The next element to consider is node security. Blockchain full nodes are vulnerable as they are connected to the internet and act as a server in the decentralized network. Some of their basic functions include broadcasting transactions and keeping the ledger synchronized. The following are some guidelines that can be followed to eliminate unnecessary risk and protect blockchain nodes. The first recommendation is to reduce the attack surface by eliminating the risks associated with redundant functions that are not essential to the wallet platform. Establishing IP-based access control or access control lists can help in reducing the risk of targeted attacks. This is especially useful in private chains where an access control list can stop malicious nodes from joining the chain. Cluster architecture configurations can also help in reducing the risk of the nodes being traced back, therefore reducing and eliminating the risk of targeted and DDoS attacks. We are now going to focus on the wallet security component. The wallet is responsible for balance display, policy configuration, transaction approvals, sending transactions to be signed by the signing mechanism, and finally forwarding the signed transaction to be broadcast on the secure blockchain nodes. As we have seen previously in the node security section, the blockchain node is going to be one of the most exposed elements in the system. Because of this, it is recommended to segregate our wallet logic from the blockchain node to reduce the risk of an external intrusion that could be potentially initiated from the blockchain node itself. The signing mechanism from the wallet logic is the element responsible for verifying a signature request, coordinating the signature of the original raw transaction, and returning the same transaction. The signing mechanism can range from very simple methods such as an offline single key signature to more complex configuration. In Sababa's case, we use CPO's threshold SIG technology to coordinate an MPC signature by multi-signing parties. By segregating these three modules, wallets segregated by the blockchain nodes and the signing mechanism segregated from the wallet, we can drastically reduce the risk of an intrusion that could reach the signing mechanism. Let's now have a look at the Sababa Vault platform. As mentioned in the presentation, we pride ourselves in having a secure, easy-to-use user interface. It's simple to set up bank account-like policies, define transaction limits, confirm pre-approved addresses, and use permissions for each wallet on the platform. It is also simple to execute payments by choosing a wallet, a whitelisted outgoing address, an amount to transfer, and transaction fee, making it easy to securely transfer funds. Sababa has a shared risk and responsibility model that assists with controlling payments via an approval chain, which can be configured to the needs of any business operation or process. The model makes it simple for users to view and approve transactions on their phone as they receive notifications via the AllSec app. An operator can trigger a transaction, and then depending on the size of the transaction and corresponding wallet policies, the transaction will then move through a multi-level approval process as users approve the transaction using an 8-digit code. The app's numeric keypad is custom built for increased security. Once the transaction has proceeded through the approval chain, the transaction will be approved and published on the blockchain. It is then easily viewable as a completed transaction record on the platform. To see the full process in action, feel free to contact us via our contact details shown at the end of this presentation. Let me now briefly summarize some of the key concepts discussed during this webinar. Enterprise wallet solutions need to offer liquidity and usability to service providers without compromising on security. MPC technology like Sepia's threshold SIG eliminates a private key becoming the single point of failure. Secure key management is not enough to ensure mobile phone security, and enterprise wallets need to consider security beyond those devices. Wallet platforms need to focus on security components, including key management security, system security, blockchain node security, authentication security, and wallet application security. Sababa delivers a suite of tools featuring a full-stack security approach that enables enterprises to secure their digital asset operations. Please contact us via our website or send an email to info@sababa.com to find out more. Thank you for listening.